Welcome to the feast, I unleash, I'm a motherfucking beast.
What's up guys? So welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the next episode of my Rehab-Prehab series. So this episode is going to be focused on anterior pelvic tilt. So before we get into this video, I just want to give a quick shout out to an awesome guy who did an awesome video edit for me. His name is Edward, and he made an absolutely awesome workout edit for me the past week. So I'm going to share that with you guys, and I'm going to put his email and his Instagram name down in the description box below for you guys. So if anyone is in this area, in the DMV area, who wants to work with him and wants to get a nice video done, then I highly recommend him. He's a friendly, awesome dude and does really good work. So enjoy this edit in 3, 2, 1.
Just tell me where you wanna go. Let me take you there. But I wanna see what's above. I wanna see what's below. Just tell me where you wanna go. You can name the place, yeah, you can name the time. Before we running out of time, I can see our clothes down on the floor. I can see it all, baby, we should go. Get set, go, take off.
So I'm back. I hope you enjoyed that little edit, and make sure you contact Edward if you really liked it. And now let's get into this video. So just again, my disclaimer, I am not a chiropractor, I'm not a physical therapist. So if you do feel like you're having these symptoms, then you should definitely go see, for this particular injury, APT, you should see your chiropractor. They can actually tell you the exact degree to which your pelvis is tilting anteriorly, posteriorly, and stuff like that. They can help adjust you to help contribute to solving the problem. So I definitely recommend seeing a chiropractor or a physical therapist, or a combination of both, if you feel like you're having these symptoms. And these exercises are what have cured it for me. I have personally experienced acute anterior pelvic tilt, nothing serious, but it was causing me some pain, and it is what helped me. It's what's helped a lot of my clients, but my clients have also seen chiropractors while I have been giving them these exercises to do. So just keep that in mind. I am a personal trainer, I am not a physical therapist. There is a difference between the two, but this video still can and will help you if you implement these tips. So with that being said, let's get right into this video. So the first thing is, what is anterior pelvic tilt? So it is exactly what it sounds like. It is the anterior tilting of your pelvis. Here's what it looks like on the screen right now. Typically your posture is going to be a little different. Your butt's going to be sticking out more. You're going to have more of an arch in your back. That's one telltale sign that you have anterior pelvic tilt, is your posture. And other signs that you know that you might have it are mid to lower back pain. Typically you would think it would cause lower back pain because it has to do with your pelvis and your spine, but numerous clients that have had symptoms of anterior pelvic tilt that we figured out they did have that tilt, they were experiencing pain in their mid back. So if you're looking at my torso, in this area on the back side of me, and so it was really odd. They would describe a pain right outside their spine, and they would think there's no way it has to do with my glutes, there's no way it has to do with my abs, like it's in the middle of my back, but that is what it turned out to be. So be aware that there may be referred pain in other areas of your back, not just in your glutes or in your lower back, with anterior pelvic tilt. Another sign that you may have anterior pelvic tilt is poor glute and core activation. This is almost like the #1 telltale sign. So if you cannot seem to get your glutes to burn in an exercise, that is a big sign. So if you have trouble contracting your glutes, feeling your glutes working in any exercise, if you don't even know what having a glute pump feels like, this is something you should definitely look into. Activation is a huge part of this. So, and also if you don't feel your core being engaged in things like the squat and deadlift, your core is also a big part of this in your pelvis stabilization. So make sure you think about those two things. And then a big telltale sign is something you can see if you record yourself doing exercises. If you do the glute squeeze, the granny butt squeeze, and your hips come under your lower back, and you can see that, and you can see you have to physically move your pelvis under your lower back in order to squeeze your glutes together, then that is a sign that you have A, poor glute activation, and B, could be contributing to an anterior pelvic tilt. And this is actually how mine originated. So right now on the screen I'm showing you guys examples of improper versus proper glute squeezes in different compound exercises. So pay attention to this and maybe record yourself doing these exercises and see if you're doing that, because this is a really easy way to fix glute activation issues and to figure out if you have anterior pelvic tilt. But this is actually how I found out that I was struggling with my glute activation. I would come up from the squat and every rep I would squeeze my glutes very hard, but I was bringing my pelvis way under, and when it's under heavy weight like that, that can be really dangerous. It's putting a lot of pressure on your lower back. So definitely film yourself doing a couple of the compound exercises and see what that looks like. And so what APT comes from is exactly what I've showed you. It's a lack of glute and core activation, which sums up into those symptoms that I have just listed, and as well as poor posture, so the arching of the back and sticking out of the butt. So next part of this video, we're gonna get into how do you fix this. So maybe you feel like you have these symptoms, but you're not quite sure, you're not having pain yet, or you just can't get a glute pump and you want to see how to fix that. Or you have seen a chiropractor and they've told you, hey, you have an anterior pelvic tilt, like make sure you activate your glutes and make sure you do these certain exercises. Here's some of the stuff that you can do to prevent further anterior pelvic tilt, to maintain good glute activation, to maintain good spinal health. Potentially these exercises can help you get rid of the tilt if you already have one. So not all of these exercises are going to be one size fits all. Some people might find that certain exercises help activate their glutes better than others. I encourage you to try all of these and figure out what works for you the best so that you can benefit from the most glute activation possible. So the first thing that you're gonna wanna do to prevent this or to cure this is maintaining good glute activation while training lower body. So the first thing that I'm showing you here on the screen is band work. So resistance bands are very helpful for activating the glutes, whether it be right before your workout, whether it be in between sets in your workout. Very helpful. So here I am showing you glute banded kickbacks, single leg at a time, banded squats. When you're doing these, make sure you're pushing your knees out against the band. That's what's gonna engage your glutes in the movement, is when you're pushing against that resistance the entire way down and the entire way up, as well as seated banded abductors, lying banded abductors, and squatting banded abductors. So depending on where you feel it the best, I definitely recommend trying all of these variations out. And then here I'm doing banded side-to-side walks. So these are really good for activating your abductors. And then banded frog walks. These are just really hard in general and are great for activating the glutes as well. So these are a lot of the things I like to do with bands that helps activate my glutes. I superset band work with things like hip thrusts with the beginning of my workouts, and sometimes I'll even just start my lifts with 3 to 5 sets of like 20 to 50 reps on the hip abductor machine where your knees are pushing out like this. The key with that machine to activate your glutes is not to think about your knees pushing out, but to think about your glutes coming together, and that's gonna bring your knees out as you do that exercise. So that is a great machine that you can use to activate your glutes. Band work is amazing, so definitely try to incorporate that, as well as core activation. So do not neglect your core when you are working on your anterior pelvic tilt. So the number one thing that most chiropractors and most videos and articles that I've seen nowadays recommending is reverse crunches. So, and on the screen right here, I'm demonstrating reverse crunches. You're just bringing your pelvis off the floor a little bit to crunch your abs together and then going into a leg raise. So that is a great activation move for your core. And then just to strengthen your core, you can do things like cable rope crunches, which I'm showing here. Keys with this: make sure your legs stay parallel or perpendicular to the floor and they're not moving. Your core and your torso should be the only thing moving, and your legs should be staying the same. And then next, what I'm showing you guys is proper stretching. The first thing that's really important for fixing this issue is glute activation and core activation, but the second thing is going to be proper stretching to fix your posture. So here, the first thing I'm showing you is a hip opener stretch. So your hips and your hip flexors are crucial to your full range of motion, your mobility, and your glute activation. So I'm doing a stretch here where I'm pushing my knees apart while sitting into a squat. This is stretching out the inner adductors and my groin. And then here I'm showing you a glute stretch. I don't really know what to call it. A glute med stretch, I guess, where you put your leg up on something sideways and you're basically laying on it to stretch out the outside of your glutes. This one is a really tough stretch, but it really feels good. And then another one to open up your hips is the Spider-Man stretch. I've shown you guys this in other Rehab-Prehab videos. So the Spider-Man stretch, make sure you're pushing your hips straight down into the floor, keeping a vertical shin and pushing your weight into your front heel, just like with any lunge, and feeling it in that opposite leg's hip flexor. And then you can also put your knee down on the floor and push forward. This will also stretch your hip flexor. So those are two variations that you can do for your hip flexors. And then this one here is just a breathing exercise where you're filling up your rib cage with air and then pushing out and arching your back as much as possible. So I just call this the cat dog stretch, cat dog breathing. Don't really know what else to call it. But yeah, this one is helpful for your posture when it comes to anterior pelvic tilt. And then lastly, this is one that my friend Kristen showed me, and she was dealing with some minor anterior pelvic tilt as well. But this one is another hip flexor stretch, and it's pretty tough, but you're basically sitting on or kneeling on one knee, and you're gonna put your back toe up against a bench to pull on your quad and your hip flexor while you're on one knee. So that concludes all the stretches that I think are very beneficial for having anterior pelvic tilt or preventing it. And then lastly, the third thing you need to do, so the first thing was proper glute and core activation. Second thing was proper stretching for your posture. And then the third thing is gonna be foam rolling. So foam rolling, I'm not going to show you guys any demonstrations for this. You can look in my other Rehab-Prehab videos of how to foam roll your glutes, your hamstrings, and your quads. I believe that was in my hip impingement video and or my lower back pain video, so episodes 1 and 3. So check those out. I will try to link those right here on the screen, if not in the description box below. And just make sure you're foam rolling regularly. It doesn't have to be a ton. It can just be for like 5 to 10 minutes per time, and you can just focus on the glutes and the lower back and the hips. And so that is the third thing you really need to focus on when you're trying to prevent or maintain good glute activation, is keeping everything loose, worked out, foam rolled, and stuff like that. That's really it. So that's everything I know about anterior pelvic tilt that I wanted to share with you guys. And yeah, I hope you found it helpful. I hope that some of you can apply this to your training regimen or to your rehab regimen. And if you didn't really know what this was, but you're having these symptoms, I hope that you go to your chiropractor or your physical therapist and really get this figured out and solved for the long run. Because at the end of the day, the reason why I'm giving you guys videos like these is so you can extend your longevity with training hard, with eating right, with living a fit and healthy lifestyle. Recovery and preventing injuries and rehabbing injuries is so important. So hopefully this has helped one or some of you, and that will be it. So make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you like this series and if you like this video, and make sure to comment below if you have any other types of injuries that you guys want me to go into more detail on down in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like this, more informative content every single week, every Monday morning, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.